ecstatic. I'm so happy. I know a lot of our viewers are off-roaders and you guys, you know, Jeeps, you know, Mopar or no car kind of people out there, but baby. What's up, Lite Nation? Now, a lot of you guys have been asking about the whereabouts of my Supra because it's been MIA for a couple of months now, and I know some of you guys thought that I had sold it. Clearly, nope. Clearly I did not. In fact, it's kind of quite the opposite. It's actually been undergoing a full-blown head-to-toe makeover. And as you can tell, it's covered. That's because I really want to keep the final end result a secret until the very end of this video. Part 1 has been completed and it just amps me up for the rest of it. But there's still a few more things left that I really want to do to kind of finish this whole thing off. First and most importantly is installing these, the Bilstein Evo T1 coilovers. Now, we actually got to test out these bad boys in Germany at the Nürburgring at Bilstein's home base proving grounds. And good Lord, did they ride like a dream. And of course, with a little bit of eyelash batting and a lot of begging, I actually convinced Bilstein to ship us a set to the United States so I can install them on my Supra here. And these things are sick. They're equipped with dual click adjustments that allow you to set both the rebound and the bump at the same time on this aluminum dial right here. Now there's 10 clicks, and if you notice, it's located at the bottom on the rear, which gives you easy access and adjustability when it's on the car, and on the front, it's located at the top. Again, just so you can get to it really easily from underneath the hood. Now, these things will actually allow you to adjust your ride height by up to 70 millimeters. And what's super sick about these things, what I like about them the most, is the fact that they're the in-between when it comes to the Bilstein Evo coilover line. And what I mean by that is these give you the handling experience that you would expect to have on a racetrack while also giving you the driving comfort that you would expect out of any daily driven vehicle. So for us, it was the perfect kind of in-between and coilover set for my Supra, because although it does go to the track sometimes, for the most part, it's still a daily driven vehicle. And I definitely want it to be as comfortable as possible. Now, for those of you who are familiar with my Supra and you've seen our past videos on it, you know that I'm still running the factory suspension. All I have are lowering springs because I have it set to the perfect fitment and ride height that I want. Like, it is fantastic.
I have it set to the perfect fitment and ride height. That was
the only downside is that it rides kind of like fit. It's super bouncy and there's no way to adjust it. And it's not terrible, but it's far from good. It's just you kind of have to suffer through it when you're behind the seat of the vehicle. So instead, again, that's why we're installing the Bilstein Evo T1s. And by we, I mean Chris.
Just today.
Super light. Oh, one-handed. Super secret squirrel time. But first thing you gotta do is take the strut tower top bolts out. And then we can come down here and get the rest of this out. We just have to disconnect all the little guys, unscrew all the brake lines. Then we'll take the one bolt out right there, if you can see it. Take that one bolt out, and this whole strut assembly will come out of here. Next, we gotta get all these connectors off. Yep, got the one. Oh, nice. Yank this guy out of there. Harness is out, everybody's off. And then we'll go for that guy right there. Okay, there you go. Now this should come out of there and come up. But I need both hands for this, so hold on.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Now you get to see the difference. 70 millimeters of adjustability, so you can drop it 70 millimeters, which is about 2.5 inches of drop. All the adjusters are on top, which will sit outside the top of this cup. So we have to swap this cup over. This bearing, there's a turning bearing in here, a turn bearing. So all of this has to go on top of this, so we gotta swap this over. I know, somebody's gonna say, oh my God, those are so dangerous. But I only need a little bit because it already has lowering springs on it. So it shouldn't be too bad. There's a Torx bit in there. That's an Allen, so we gotta walk that out with an Allen wrench. Problem solving 101. Need an 18, but I need to run an Allen in the middle of it. I can't put a ratchet on there because then you can't get this inside, but I can now. So just use the vice grips, hold that guy down, and we'll just back this out. Ta-da!
Boop, boop.
Now we just need all of this. You take the bump stop out because this already has a bump stop, but we need this bearing. See, there's a bearing on here. Steering still works. You loosen the whole knob, which will eventually loosen off. This is your piston. This is what controls your valves. So all the way in is harder, all the way out is softer. We just take this off for now. Swap everybody over. Install that whole unit. Make sure you get the spring in that perch, like so.
How's it fit, boss?
Like a glove. Supplied hardware, new lock nut. Make sure you put the new lock nut on there because the last thing you want is it falling off. Now we just gotta run it all down.
What have you done?
So, you gotta hold the piston shaft, but you don't want to mar that up because it's chrome. I have a pair of pipe vice grips and a leather strap. So the leather will grab the shaft with the vice grip so that you can tighten this guy up. Oh look, it's already tight. So there you go. Now we just put it back in. That's it. Shove it back in the center. And in she goes. And it just goes back together in reverse order. Make sure you put this bracket. We are almost done. I got one more thing to do. Because the stock struts have this sensor on it, this is your ride, comfort, stiffness. This is your automatic dampening control, I guess, for the Toyota. And as you can see, the Bilsteins don't have it. So in order to get rid of that, we are going to use this. This is an RSR damper canceller. So we plug this into the Toyota and it thinks that we still have this sensor. So this will just take care of that because we have a purpose-built spring and dampening system for the Supra. So we really don't need this because this is going to be an all-in-one package and you can do it mechanically up here at the top. This will get rid of the light on the dash. Moving on to the rear, you've got to take out these E12s at the top, and then on the bottom, I think, skid plate, it's a couple of 10 millimeters in there, and then that bolt right there, that one in the back. That bolt right there is the bottom of the shock. Unplug these two sensors over here. Oh, just one. That sensor, and out it comes. Hey! Then we just gotta take that bolt out and the shock should come out. Woo! Got it. They just pull the cap. It is a 16, I think. Yep, nailed it. You can do them by hand. This is the only piece we need. Goes onto here. So you just put the cap on. New nut. No need for the bump stop because these are built upside down. So the body is here and the shaft is down here. They do that so that you can get the adjuster down here instead of being up in the car. These are a lot easier to adjust. This is an inverted shock design. They don't really care which way they go. They still work the same, both ways. And that is it. Ta-da! Shock has been converted. We got one part left. Now we have to swap the stock spring for the Bilstein coilover setup. First, we gotta get the old spring out. In order to get this spring out of this pocket, we need to take this lower control arm and pull it down out of the way, so we need to take this off. This is an E20. I don't have an E20, but a 16 will fit. And I'm gonna do it by hand so as not to round off the top of that bolt, because that would suck. Perfect. And then you just pull this spring out. Now we just replace all of this with the Bilstein setup. Now the Bilstein setup, it's pretty easy. The only part I need out of the factory, the one that goes in the lower socket. So we just put this guy on here, clocked all the way in. Make sure you have the rubber isolators. It goes in just like that. This replicates the top of that, and it goes right in the hole just like that. This whole thing goes right back in there. Now for the lower, you gotta make sure that you turn bottom so that little flapper guy right here comes out this little hole right here. Now it just goes back together. Okay, so use this bolt, pry bar, pry it back over to get that bolt back in. Now all we gotta do is put the new Evo T1s in. Remember, you have to go inside these sensor wires and collapse the shock, which I know I can do, and stuff it in the hole. And it just goes in there. Tighten that up, and we'll put some bolts up top. Oh, one thing left to do. That sensor. Just like the front, the rears have them too. So we can stick this guy on the rear so that the rear sensor doesn't go crazy and say, hey. So this is the jumper harness that is inside of here. You just have to take the jumper harness off and just plug this right into the end of the sensor. Got this side done, now we just gotta do the other side.
Okay, so now that Chris and Beck are done installing the coilovers, it's time for the next step, which is making this beast sound amazing. Not that it doesn't sound great already, but it can definitely sound better. And we're gonna do that with MagnaFlow's xMOD series exhaust system. This thing is completely modular, which means you can configure it to whatever sound level you personally prefer. This thing comes with, originally, it has it set up for 2 mufflers, but you can also swap them out to straight pipes. So you can run dual straight pipes or 1 muffler, 1 straight pipe, vice versa. You have a 2.5-inch front pipe, a 3-inch front pipe. The whole thing is configurable to give you the end result sound you want your vehicle to make. But what's also really cool is it also still comes equipped with the factory valve, which means it gives you another level of configurability. So if you want to run the straight pipe on this side versus a muffler on this side, when you have the valve opened or shut, that also totally affects the way that the vehicle sounds. Not to mention, this is really nice too, if you're like me and you do your best to try to respect your neighbors, having that valve is also really important. But I'm gonna stop talking about it. I'm gonna let Chris show you all of the ways in which we're gonna install it on my Supra to make it sound the way I want it to sound.
All right, now that all the shocks are in, we get to work on this xMOD kit. This thing is gonna be sick. Which means Beck and I have to get all of this stuff out. Luckily for us, this already has a downpipe in it. We're not doing the downpipe, we just need to take it off from here and go all the way to the back. It's actually not the cat. The cat's up there. This is a resonator, the first of 2. I think there's 2 of them in here. We need to drop this bar, these 2 pieces of plastic, and then this rear diffuser that we have on here so that we can put all the new stuff in there. All right, we got the diffuser off. That was kind of a pain in the butt. And it might not go back on because the new tips are much larger than the stock factory ones. I might have to modify it or make a new diffuser at some point. So now all we gotta do is get it off. I got a hanger, and then I gotta get this valve. I gotta pull this valve off because this valve actually goes in the new system. This guy, there's a hanger right here, a bolt right here, a clamp right here. That's it, and the whole factory system comes off. So let's get it off.
Got it.
All right, now that we got it out, what we gotta do is take these guys off, and a little WD-40, a little squirt, and take these guys off. These guys need to go on the new one. It's just easier to get it off with the bolts than it is to try to pry that thing off while it's in the air. So we'll just squirt these guys down. All right, and then hopefully pry them off. They should come off pretty easy. Ah, there it goes.
Yeah, that was a lot easier.
A little more juice. Ta-da! And then one more of this guy. Yeah! Woo! Now, we just have to get this in. So we're gonna start with the big 3-inch. We're gonna do the big 3-inch front pipe right into this doubler, right into the Y pipe. That bracket we just took off goes there. And then we're gonna put the rears in, but we're gonna take the mufflers out. We're just gonna run straight pipes because Kevin wants to see how loud it can possibly be with no resonance. This thing's gonna be a race car. It's gonna sound awesome. Remember to leave everything loose until it's all done, then we can tighten it up. This whole kit V-bands together, just like you've seen me use on a couple of other builds. These things are sick.
While Chris is over there adjusting the exhaust, see him over there? I'm gonna take the valve off the old exhaust. Voila.
Now that Beck and I got the Supra all wrapped up, Kevin's got one more surprise. No car would be complete without a big ass wang. Ta-da! Now we just gotta go get Brittany so that she can show you guys her new toy.
Whoop whoop.
No freaking way. This thing looks sick. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you guys, but first we're gonna take it somewhere because this needs a backdrop as epic as it looks. Check this out. So sick. Bilstein freaking killed it on the vinyl wrap. It used to be called the Little Red Rocket. Clearly I'm going to have to rename it at this point. Maybe it's the Little Rocket or the Rocket, but the wing, thank you, my love. Big surprise. Oh my God. How long did it take you to find that? Because we've looked before and we have never been able to find one that looked good, like really good.
Well, the problem is it has a duck bill, and so adding a wing to that never looked right, but I finally found one that I thought just fit the flow of the car.
It looks so clean, and the ride height is perfect. The fitment is great, the car looks great. The only thing that's left is driving it and seeing how it feels sitting behind the wheel. So that's the next step. Let's go take it for a ride. God, it's so planted. Feels so good. Baby. Oh God, it just sounds so good. And just the suspension is planted, like just, it doesn't feel like it's gonna kick out from you or anything. Like you're glued to the corners. It's so good. It corners like I'm on a track, but it drives like it's a daily driver, which is, oh my God, so good. So freaking good. So this car, this Supra, with the new exhaust, the new suspension, it sounds so good. And from inside the vehicle, it's not too loud, it's not drony, so this is cruising at 70 miles an hour right now. It's not bad. I get on it. Baby. She sounds so good. I won't tell you how fast that was, but oh, and it just feels comfortable. It wasn't bad on just lowering springs, but it was bouncy. Like you hit bounces or bumps in the road and it kind of like you bounce. Whereas now, like you'll hit it and it settles really well. Like it feels sporty, but very comfortable, and it handles around corners like I'm back on the Nürburgring when we got to drive Bilstein Supra over in Germany, and it is just, oh my God, it's fantastic. And okay, the wing, I get it, like not for everyone. It's a little JDM, whatever. That thing looks sleek. Like it looks so good on the back of the Supra, and Kevin's right. It took forever to find a wing that fit the body lines of this vehicle, because since it already has kind of that natural duck bill on the trunk, it's very difficult to find a wing that looks good. I know my cage is still red too, which, you know, is what it is for now. We'll leave it at the moment. Maybe eventually I'll not be lazy enough, we can pull it out and get it powder coated or something. We're also looking on different colors for the wheels, so if you guys have any ideas or suggestions as far as what colors to powder coat the wheels, let me know. I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy. I know a lot of our viewers are off-roaders, and you guys, you know, Jeeps, you know, Mopar or no car kind of people out there, but baby. For those of you that don't know, my Supra is not stock right now, so it is not tuned on meth currently like it used to be, or E45 like it used to be, because we live in Utah and finding race fuel and ethanol or E85 is really difficult. but it is tuned on 91. It's probably making closer to like 575, 600 horsepower to the wheel, torque to the wheel. Prior, when it was tuned on everything else, it was making 650, 650 to the wheel. This baby hits and kits, and it is fantastic. And now it looks as good as it drives. I am stoked. This is fantastic.
Sounds freaking insane. It sounds so good. You probably can't tell with all the wind noise.
Oh, and I think it is worth mentioning as well. So the Bilstein Evo T1s that are currently on the Supra, we have them lowered all the way at the moment. And the fitment is, again, amazing. But if you are looking to go lower, if you wanted something like this for your Supra, if you do want to go lower than I currently have this set at, you'll probably have to go with the Evo Rs. So those are a little more high performance. They do give you both compression and rebound adjustment. It's kind of the next step up, but those are their like track purpose coilovers as far as the Evo series goes. So if you want to go lower, I'd highly recommend going with that. Otherwise though, if you want that daily driven feel with that track handling, hands down the T1s. These things, oh my God, I'm a happy camper. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It drives like a freaking dream. Oh my God. Guys, huge shout out to Bilstein, to MagnaFlow, of course to Kevin, and of course to Chris as well for putting this all together and making this look and sound and oh my God. I'm so excited. Now there are a few more things that we do want to do to my Supra, but we'll probably save that for another video. You guys will have to wait until next time. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, you can find all of your Lite Brite Nation merch and decals at litebritstudios.com. Guys, as always, we love you, and we will see you next time. Now, I've been getting a ton of questions. Why are you smiling like that?
Can't smile at my wife?
You made a face like I said something funny.
No.
Is there something on my face?
Yeah, the cuteness.
Oh, okay. So dumb.
Take two?
Take two.
Okay.
Too much? I'm gonna do it.
Action.
Cut.
You have a MagnaFlow t-shirt.
It's in the wash.
Yeah.